Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're embarking on a journey into the captivating yet often alarming world of parasites that reportedly affect 3.2 billion people globally every year. Parasites are organisms that inhabit another organism, referred to as the host, and sustained by absorbing nutrients at the host's expense. They range in size from microscopic protozoa, barely visible to the naked eye, to larger parasites like worms and ticks, some reaching a horrifying 30 feet in length. You might question why these tiny creatures merit our attention. Simply put, parasites can lead to an array of health problems, some severe, including diseases like malaria, which alone accounts for nearly 405,000 deaths annually, toxoplasmosis affecting an estimated 11% of the population in the US in a given year, and Lyme disease, which infects about 300,000 people in the US each year. Deciphering how parasites spread is not just an academic pursuit, it's a vital aspect of safeguarding human and animal health worldwide. These tiny organisms exhibit remarkable versatility, devising numerous ways to transfer from host to host. Some need direct contact, while others may hitch a ride in our food or water, causing an estimated 1 billion illnesses and 2 million deaths annually, or even float in the air we breathe. Astonishingly, some parasites have mastered the art of manipulation, employing other organisms like mosquitoes or ticks, which carry diseases to nearly 700 million people each year, as vehicles to their next host. Our exploration into the realm of parasites isn't just about the parasites themselves, but also their intricate interactions with their hosts and their environment. This includes their life cycles, which are often cleverly adapted to ensure their survival, spread, and reproduction. Moreover, parasites aren't just a problem for the individual hosts they infect. They can have significant impacts on entire communities, ecosystems, and even economies, as they cost the US economy alone approximately $9.4 billion a year. This underlines why understanding how parasites spread is crucial not just for treating parasitic infections, but also for managing their broader impacts. So stay with us as we delve deeper into how parasites spread, their life cycles, and how we can prevent and control their transmission. This knowledge isn't just fascinating, but can also equip us to save countless lives and protect our health and our environment. Understanding how parasites spread, therefore, becomes paramount to our health and that of our environment. One of the ways parasites spread is through direct contact. This means the parasite can be transmitted through physical contact between hosts. Imagine shaking hands with someone who has a parasite on their skin. Without even knowing it, you could end up carrying the parasite too. Similarly, if an infected individual touches a surface, the parasite could remain there, waiting for someone else to touch it. Think about the things you touch every day. Door handles, elevator buttons, shopping carts. Any of these could potentially be contaminated if an infected person has touched them. It's not just about person-to-person contact either. Pets can also be carriers of parasites, passing them on to humans through close contact. Remember, parasites are crafty and can survive on surfaces for longer than you might expect. This is why hygiene practices such as regular hand washing and cleaning of surfaces are crucial. Avoiding direct contact with infected individuals or contaminated surfaces can help prevent the spread of parasites. Parasites can also enter our bodies through what we consume. Imagine you're enjoying a succulent piece of steak. Unknown to you, it might be contaminated with a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii, especially if it's undercooked. Consuming contaminated food like this can lead to an infection called toxoplasmosis. Similarly, a sip of contaminated water might introduce a parasite called Giardia into your body, leading to a diarrheal disease known as giardiasis. Even the soil beneath our feet can harbor parasites. The roundworm, Ascaris lumbricoides, can exist in soil contaminated with human feces, and if ingested can cause a disease called ascariasis. Foodborne and waterborne parasites like these are more common than you might think, and they can have significant health impacts. However, there's no need to panic. Simple precautions like thoroughly cooking food, drinking safe water, and practicing good hygiene can help prevent these infections. Being vigilant about what we consume can save us from parasitic infections. Vectors like mosquitoes and ticks are often the culprits behind the spread of parasites. These tiny creatures, while often just seen as a nuisance, can carry and transmit parasites to animals and humans. This process is known as vector-borne transmission. Let's take a closer look at how this works. The life cycle of a vector-borne parasite typically involves two hosts. The vector, such as a mosquito, picks up the parasite when it feeds on an infected host, often a bird or a rodent. When the vector later feeds on a human or animal, it transmits the parasite. Vector-borne parasites have a significant impact on global health. Diseases like malaria, dengue fever, and Lyme disease are all caused by vector-borne parasites and affect millions of people worldwide every year. Understanding this process is crucial in developing strategies to control and prevent the spread of these parasites. Preventing vector-borne transmission is a key step in controlling parasitic infections. Did you know that parasites can even travel through the air? It's a less common but still significant route of transmission. Certain parasites, particularly those that produce airborne spores, can float in the air, ready to be inhaled by unsuspecting hosts. This is especially problematic in crowded or unsanitary conditions where the risk of transmission escalates. Imagine a bustling city street or a packed subway car. In these environments, parasites can spread quickly, infecting a large number of people in a short time. Similarly, unsanitary conditions such as poor waste management can create hotspots for airborne parasites, making them a public health concern. So how can we prevent airborne transmission of parasites? The answers lie in maintaining good hygiene and sanitation practices, ensuring regular cleaning and waste disposal, using air purifiers, and wearing masks in crowded places can significantly reduce the risk. Preventing airborne transmission is crucial, especially in crowded places. Understanding the life cycle of parasites can give us insights into how they spread. To fully grasp this concept, let's delve into the intriguing, if somewhat unsettling, world of parasites. Parasites, the unwelcome guests in the world of biology, have a fascinating life cycle that allows them to thrive in diverse environments. They typically go through several stages of development, from an egg to a mature adult. Each stage is perfectly adapted to exploit a specific host or environment for survival and reproduction. Think of it as a well-orchestrated dance, where the parasite moves from one stage to the next, each time changing its form to suit its current circumstances. The stages where the parasite is most likely to be transmitted are usually the ones where it is the most vulnerable. For instance, eggs or larvae are often released into the environment, where they must find a new host before they can progress to the next stage. This vulnerability, however, is counterbalanced by their sheer numbers. A single mature parasite can release tens of thousands of eggs in a day, increasing the odds that at least a few will find a new host. This is a classic example of the survival strategy. If at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. But parasites are not just passive players in this game of survival, they are also masters of adaptation. They have evolved complex mechanisms to evade the immune system of their hosts. Some can even manipulate the behavior of their hosts to increase their chances of transmission. For example, a certain species of parasite that infects rats can alter the rodent's behavior, making it less afraid of cats. The cat, being the definitive host of this parasite, is where it needs to end up to complete its life cycle. By changing the rat's behavior, the parasite is essentially hitching a ride directly to its destination. Awareness of a parasite's life cycle can help us interrupt their transmission. By understanding when and how parasites are likely to spread, we can design more effective strategies to prevent them. It's a fascinating, if somewhat creepy, glimpse into the world of these unwelcome guests. Good hygiene practices are our first line of defense against parasites. These invisible invaders can be lurking anywhere, waiting for an opportunity to latch onto a host. But with good hygiene, we can keep them at bay. Personal hygiene starts with something as simple yet crucial as proper hand washing. Using soap and scrubbing your hands for at least 20 seconds can eliminate many potential parasites. But hygiene doesn't stop at our bodies, it extends to our surroundings as well. Regular cleaning of our living and working spaces, particularly high-touch areas, helps in reducing the risk of contamination. Waste management is another key aspect of environmental hygiene. Proper disposal of waste, especially biological waste, can prevent the breeding of parasites and their vectors. Finally, sanitation extends to communal spaces too, like public restrooms and kitchens. Keeping these areas clean can prevent the spread of parasites that thrive in unsanitary conditions. Remember, good hygiene practices can significantly reduce the risk of parasitic infections. Controlling vectors is another effective way to prevent parasitic infections. Vectors are creatures like mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas that play a crucial role in the spread of parasites. So how do we control these small but mighty creatures? One key strategy is the use of insecticides. These chemicals can kill or repel vectors, disrupting the life cycle of the parasites they carry. However, it's essential to use insecticides responsibly to minimize their impact on the environment and non-target species. Another effective method is the use of bed nets. These nets, often treated with insecticides, provide a physical barrier between humans and vector insects, especially during sleep when we are most vulnerable. Finally, environmental management plays a vital role. By eliminating breeding grounds for vectors, such as stagnant water for mosquitoes, we can significantly reduce their populations. Remember, each of these strategies has its strengths and limitations, but when used together they form a powerful defense. Effective vector control can dramatically reduce the spread of parasites. Ensuring the safety of our food and water is a critical step in preventing parasitic infections. To start, proper cooking is essential. High heat can kill parasites and their eggs, reducing the risk of infection. It's especially important when preparing meat, fish, and poultry. Storage is also key. Keeping food at the right temperature can prevent the growth of parasites. Refrigerate or freeze perishables promptly, and never leave them out in room temperature for more than 2 hours. As for water, not all sources are safe. Unfiltered water, especially from lakes, rivers, or wells, may contain parasites. To ensure water safety, consider drinking only filtered or boiled water. Water treatment methods like using water disinfection tablets or UV light devices can also be effective in killing parasites. Remember, it's not just about what we eat, but how we prepare and store it. Safe food and water practices can prevent ingestion of parasites. Education is one of the most powerful tools we have in the fight against parasites. Knowledge is our best defense, and health education plays a vital role in disseminating that knowledge. It's through learning about these microscopic invaders and their transmission routes that we can take effective steps to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. Health education and awareness campaigns can provide invaluable information on the life cycle of parasites, their common transmission routes, and most importantly, how to prevent their spread. These campaigns can take many forms, from school curriculums and community workshops to online resources and public health initiatives. They not only educate us about the risks and symptoms of parasitic infections, but also inspire us to adopt healthier habits and practices. Whether it's washing our hands properly, cooking our food thoroughly, or keeping our environment clean, every little action counts. With the right information, we can empower ourselves and our communities to prevent parasitic infections. We've covered a lot of ground today in our exploration of how parasites spread. We delved into the world of these sneaky organisms, understanding their general characteristics and the numerous ways they can find their way into our lives. From direct contact and ingestion to vector-borne and airborne transmission, parasites have certainly evolved to survive and thrive. We also explored the fascinating life cycle of parasites, showing us how they adapt to their environment and hosts for survival and reproduction. The importance of prevention and control measures was underscored, highlighting the significance of hygiene practices, vector control, food and water safety, and health education. We believe that sharing this information can help raise awareness and empower each of us to play a part in preventing the spread of parasites. For those who wish to delve deeper, there are numerous resources available to expand your knowledge. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to preventing parasitic infections.